This is one of my favorites. The pinball in a single piece wooden block. As you can see, there's no way that a pinball is going to fit into that hole. So let me show you how you can do this. This wooden cube right here is about 2.5 inches all the way around, but I think this one I'm going to make 2.25. And here is the size of a pinball, or at least the pinball that I'm going to be using. For the holes, I'm going to be using a 7/8 inch spade bit. You need to find a solid piece of softwood. I'm going to use poplar for mine, but I bet pine would work just as well. If you can't find anything like this, try checking on the bottom of pallets. A lot of times they use those for the bottom part. Originally I wanted to use a 9-ball instead of a pinball, but I couldn't find a piece big enough for it. Maybe in the future though. Now I want to get the insides nice and smooth with a drum sander. It turned out alright. This side got a little messed up, but that's because I should probably have been using a Forstner bit. But it'll do just fine. The prototype had a chamfer on it, but on this one I'm going to put a round over. I want this to look a little more round than it is, so I changed the 1/4 inch round over bit to a 3/8 round over bit. The bearing has been set in line with the fence, and that'll keep this piece from getting sucked in towards the router bit. At this point you're probably just annoyed and you want to know the secret, but I'm not going to tell you until tomorrow. Now I'm just going to let it soak for about 24 hours. See you later. It's been 24 hours and I replaced the water that was in there with hot water, just in preparation for putting the bearing in, and it's been fizzing like Alka-Seltzer for the last 10 minutes. So I'm going to give it another half hour just to finish whatever it's doing. I'm going to use the vise to press the pinball into place. So I'm going to coat the pinball with mineral oil to help it on its way and to keep it from rusting while it's drying out over the next couple days. I also made this PVC sleeve that'll help push the pinball in. To minimize the chance of splitting the piece while I'm pressing it in, I'm going to be pressing it in through the end grain. Let me explain why. Let's take a look at it up close. Now let's take a look at it up really close. Consider by way of analogy that our block of wood isn't all that different in structure from a bundle of drinking straws. In fact, when you look at wood under a microscope, it looks very much like this. Then you can imagine that our pinball passes through the end grain of the wood with a lot better, or a lot easier than it would by being pressed directly through the center. Likewise, driving a chisel through the grain is going to be a lot easier this way, or through the top of the end grain itself, than it would be to try to drive the chisel straight through. This analogy also lets us understand why a cross-grain cut is so much harder to make than a rip cut. Now I'm going to let it soak just for about 10 minutes just to help repair any damage that might have been done when I pressed it in. I don't want to dry it out too fast over the next couple days, or else I run the risk of splitting it. After about 3 or 4 days when it's completely dry, I'll probably use mineral oil to treat the wood, and then give it a nice sanding and then finish it with shellac. If you bring out the grain with a nice finish, then it's really apparent that there are no seams in the wood, and that really lends itself to a nice effect. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I guess I should show you how you get the pinball back out.